Hello everyone, welcome to day 20th of March Leetcode challenge, and I hope all of you are having a great time. Today's question is again a design question, and let's try and understand the question together. The question says we need to design an underground system, and there are three functions that are given to us. The first one says a check-in. That means that the passenger with ID this has checked in or entered the station at time t. So in simple English terms, this method accepts three parameters. The first one is the passenger ID, the station from which he entered, and the time at which he entered again. Similarly, we are given another method, checkout, which says that the passenger with ID this has checked out from the station this at time t. What do we need to find? We need to find the average time of travel for from the starting station till the ending station. So this is the example that is given to us, and I'll explain this example in my presentation. So moving on to the presentation. As usual, let me just start the slideshow, and let me just take a pen here. So even before explaining that example, let's just simplify the problem. And for simplification, we need to understand it. So as I told you, we have a check-in method which says passenger with ID this, starting station this, has checked in at time t, checkout, passenger with ID this, ending station this, has checked out at this particular time. And we need to tell the average travel time starting from the starting station up till the ending station. And how will we calculate the average travel time? It will be for all those passengers who actually traveled from the starting station till ending station. We need to calculate the average of that time. So ending time minus starting time, if we have that information for all those passengers who entered from starting station and went till ending station, if we need to take the average of for all those passengers divided by passenger count. So I hope the definition of average travel time is clear to you, and let's reframe the input in a different manner than what is specified in the question. Here I have taken the example that from Delhi, people are traveling up to Pune. From Delhi, people are traveling to Bangalore, and from Bangalore to Jaipur, from Jaipur till Mumbai, and from Mumbai back to Delhi. And let's give inputs to these destinations, these travel locations. Let's assume that A started his journey from Delhi to Pune at 10 at t time 10 t second and ended at 30 seconds. So the travel time would be 20 seconds, the difference of these two, and how many people traveled, how many persons traveled from Delhi to Pune, the count is 1. And if somebody now asks what is the average travel time from Delhi up till Pune, we will say 20. 20 by 1, that is 20. And now let's assume we have another traveler comes, which is B, and he started his journey at 23 seconds and ended at 33 seconds. So what is the average travel time here? What will be the impact? So travel time increased by 10. 33 minus 23 is 10. So we will add the total in the total travel time. This is the total travel time. So we'll add 10 to it. So this becomes 30. And the number of persons who actually traveled increases by 1. So this becomes 2. And now if somebody asks what is the average travel time from Delhi till Pune, it would be 15. And now let's take another example. Somebody is traveling from Bangalore till Jaipur, let's say C, and for that person, he started his journey at 4 second and ended his journey as 25 25th second, what is the average travel time if somebody asks immediately? It would be 24 seconds, since there's only one traveler. And let's assume another traveler also traveled sometime later, and he started his journey at 48 second and ended at his journey at 64 second. Then the total travel time increases by the difference of these two, which would be again 64 minus 40 is 24. So this becomes 48. 24 plus 24 is 48. And the passenger count, the traveler count also increases by 1. So we get 2 here. If somebody now asks what is the average travel time for Bangalore till Jaipur, it would be 48 by 2, that is again 24. So this is what we need to do. I have just simplified the input to something which is more easy to calculate or more structured, where I'm keeping a count of the total travel time from this starting station up till this ending station and the number of travelers. So if we have all this information with us, we are able to give you the average in order of one time, in constant time. Hear me out again. What information I'm storing is the starting station, the ending station, the total travel time, and number of passengers who traveled from the starting location up till the ending location. And I'm doing it for each possible sets, each possible starting and destination combinations that we have. So now let's move on to the actual problem. And I'll rephrase the information that I gathered from the previous example that I stated. We want the starting station, the ending station, the trip count, the number of travelers who actually traveled. So let's call it trip count or traveler count, and the total travel time. So these were the 4 informations that were of area of interest for us. So what we will do, we'll create a root class where we'll store the trip count, the traveler count / traveler count, and the total travel time that these many travelers took from going from starting station up till ending station. And the second information that we'll have is the passenger ID, since the input is given to us in the form of passenger ID and passenger details. The passenger details would include the start station, the end station, the starting time and ending time. So once we have this complete set of information, we can build this information from this. And in order to build this, we will use our inputs. So let's try and build these variables and build this map. So this is the map of passenger ID, and the value is passenger info, which has starting time and ending time. And let's build another map which whose key is start station underscore end station, and the route is its value, trip count and total travel time. And let's get started with our inputs. So we have check-in, and the passenger ID is 45. It's going from Leighton at time 3 seconds. So we will check whether the passenger 45 is there in the map or not. If it is not there, then that means he is going for the check-in. And what we will do, we will add it in our passenger map, whose ID would be 45 and value would be, the starting station is Leighton at time 3, and other 2 variables are still pending. Let's move on to the next. We have check-in by passenger 32, where at Paradise, so Paradise gets added at 8th second, and the destination and the exit time is still pending. Then we have another passenger with ID 27, and he's also going from Leighton. I'm not sure I'm pronouncing it right or not. at 10th second. So this is the start time, and then the other two things are still pending. So we'll fill those during the checkouts. Then we got checkouts, and at checkouts we got 45. So we'll see whether 45 already exists in the map or not. 45 does exist in the map, and we will extract this information, this particular information, and we'll fill in the remaining things. So where is he going? He has exited at Waterloo. I think Waterloo is in Canada, and at 15th second. So at 15th second, he exited from Leighton till Waterloo. So we also observed that since it's a checkout case, we will update our other map. So here in the map, the key would be Leighton underscore Waterloo, and we'll add the information if it is not there, and that information would be 15 minus 3. So the starting time minus the ending time minus the starting time, that is 12, comma the passenger count. So this gets updated. Awesome. And let's move on to the next checkout. So also we can delete this since this is no longer needed. We have checkout, and because we have already filled in this information in our appropriate map that will help us get the average. That's why I'm removing this. Also, this will create vacancy for this traveler to take another route. So now we have checkout, and checkout is at Waterloo again, and by passenger ID 27. So this is again at Waterloo by passenger ID 27 at 20th second. So this information gets updated here. Also, we will update the information in the map because there is already the key already exists in the map, Leighton underscore Waterloo, which is this. And what we'll add the travel time. The travel time for this passenger is 20 minus 10, which is 10. So we'll update 10 here. So 12 plus 10 will become 22, and the traveler count will become 2. Awesome. And now let's delete this since this is no longer needed. Then again we have checkout by ID 32 at Cambridge, and the time is 22. The exit time is 22. What is the travel time? 22 minus 8. 22 minus 8 is 14. And so we will add a new entry in the other map, Cambridge underscore, sorry, it would be Paradise underscore Cambridge. The start is the first key, Paradise underscore Cambridge, and we'll add 14, 1 to it. Awesome. And now somebody asks what is the average time from Paradise till Cambridge. We will give 14. And if somebody asks what is the average time from Leighton till Waterloo, we will extract the information. 22 by 2 is 11. So we will give this back 11. And for the rest of the cases, you can solve it by yourself. It is simply extendable to other cases. Hope you understood the problem, and let's just move on to the coding part. So let's move on to the coding part. Here I have written a few classes to exactly what I specified in the presentation. The first one is the passenger class. In the passenger class, what all information I was keeping, I kept starting time, ending time, starting station, ending station. So start time is the start time when the passenger started from the starting station. Ending time is the end time when the passenger ended his journey. And I have defined the constructor. It will accept two parameters, start station and starting time, and it will assign them to the corresponding variables, the start time and the starting station. Also, I have defined a method named checkout that will just set the end station and end time and end station. So I can name this as end time as well instead of checkout time, whatever is convenient to you. And I've also defined another class that has two parameters in it. One is the trip count, the number of trips that has happened on the particular route, and the total travel time. The total travel time that took for all the passengers to travel on one particular route. I have defined one constructor for it, which is an empty constructor. I have defined get average time, that will be a simple average logic, total travel time divided by total number of trips that happened. And I've also defined a method named as add trip, wherein I'm passing travel duration and updating my travel total travel time with this travel duration and updating my trip by one. Very simple. Apart from this, I have kept two maps. I talked about the maps in the presentation. The first one signifies the passenger ID versus passenger object, and the second one signifies the route details, route map, which I have named, and the key is starting station underscore ending station. Why I have kept this as the key? Because it will be easier for us to query when we'll be asked get average time. And this would be the object, the value would be a route info for this particular key. And now let's get started with the code. Let's initialize route map to new hash map. Always remember to do in the constructor and initialize the private variables outside new hash map. And let's write the check-in method. So if map dot contains key, if the map doesn't contain the ID key, the passenger ID key, then only we'll have to do a check-in, because otherwise there's some corruption in the input. And what we will do, we will create a new object of passenger class, looks good, new traveler equals to new, and its constructor accepted two methods, two variables. So the first one is the starting station and t, which would be the starting time. Looks good. And let's update this in the map. Which map we are interested in? The passenger map. So let's update it in the passenger map. New traveler. Awesome. And let's write the checkout method. The checkout method will be only valid if the route map, this time the route map, sorry, the passenger map contains key with passenger ID. If it doesn't contain the key with the passenger ID, that means that person has never checked in from any station. So that's not a valid input. And what we are going to write, we will first of all extract the passenger details, passenger old traveler, because it already exists in the map, and we'll ask the passenger map for the information dot get ID. I'll update old traveler with other information that we have, and we created a method checkout. We'll use that method, and this would be our ending station. So this is our ending station and this is our end time. Awesome. So now the passenger object is complete. All the information is filled, the start, end, time, starting station and ending station. And since we have all the four information, let's build our route map. So string route key would be equal to old traveler dot starting station plus underscore plus old traveler dot ending station. This would be our route key, and we'll update it in the route map. So if route map dot get or default route key otherwise, let's return a new route object. Route details, let's call it route details. I've extracted the information from the route map, and we'll need to update this information with the travel duration. So what would be the travel duration? Travel duration would be equal to old traveler end time minus old traveler dot start time. Yeah, old traveler dot end time minus start time. So this is the new travel duration, and we'll update it in the route details. So route details dot add trip, we'll call add trip method that we created, and we will pass duration to it. Awesome. And let's put this information back in the map. Which map? The route map. So route map, this information will be updated against which key? The route key, comma, route details. Awesome. And let's just remove the passenger ID from the map for it to be a legit map, so that the passenger can be added again as a fresh check-in. And when somebody asks us about the average travel time, let's create the route key. How will we create that? Using this logic, and this time not the traveler, just the ending and the starting station. So this is start station and this is end station. Yeah, and let's just ask our route map for this information. Route map dot get route key, and this will give us the route details. And let's return the average dot get average. We've created a method for it. Awesome. And let's try this out. It's a long code, I know, and I made few errors. Okay, this should be good. Okay, passenger map dot put. I did some mistake and I haven't put the value there. There should be a key associated with it. So I missed the passenger ID key. Sorry for that. And let's try again. It's a long code, so some hiccups are expected. Line 61. So starting station and ending station are not there in the traveler information. What is the name? Oh, it's start station and end station. Again, sorry for this. And let's try again for the third time. Oh, it works. Nice. accepted. So if you understood the solution, then it is not a very tough question. It's more like defining the classes and building your logic over it. Time complexity for the average time is order of n, and similarly for the checkout it's order of n, since you can retrieve information from the map in order of n and update that information from the map in order of 1. So everything is order of 1, that is constant time. Thanks for watching this video. Hope you enjoyed it. And please don't forget to like, comment, and share it with your friends. Also, please subscribe to the channel.